everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here today. Today is Tuesday, November 5th. Happy election day, hopefully. And I am hopping on today to do some more dyeing. I figured the only way I'm going to get better at this is if I continue to do it and bring you along for the ride. So we are actually going to be dyeing some mohair today. I have not yet ever dyed mohair. I haven't attempted to dye mohair, so we're going to do that today. And we're going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to do one color. I'm not going to do multiple colors today. And I have some of my goat, Peppermint Patty, who is, I'm trying to think of her color name. I think she is a brown, but I can't remember. It's not just brown. It's a couple words that they call her, or maybe she's a red. I don't know. I will look it up on her pedigree and I will put it down below in the description box. But her color is fairly light, as you can see. And I'm in our basement again because this is where all my dyeing stuff is. So hopefully the light will pick this up. But this is what her color is. And this is raw, unwashed fleece. It is fairly clean for the most part. As far as fleeces go, there are a few things in here, but I can just pick them right out. There's not a ton, so I'm going to dye it just as it is. It is, let me see if I can get you, that's the staple length on it. So it's a nice length. This would have been her last fall's fiber. No. Let's see, would it have been last fall or last spring? This past spring. I think this is this past spring's fiber. So I haven't done anything with it yet. I did sell a bunch of my fiber on my website. A lot of you got that. And I haven't worked through this last shearing a couple weeks ago. I still need to work through that. I'm not sure I'm going to be selling any of that. I did have clipper issues while I was shearing. And I don't know if I'm happy with the fleeces the way they came out. So I need to go through them. It was one of those days where you hope to do a couple hours of work. And I think I ended up working on the goats for hours. Because my new clippers that shouldn't have issues had some issues. I think we got it figured out. But they didn't cut great. And these are like legit shearing, like sheep shearing shears. So they're and they weren't cheap. They were a nice set of shears. And so I think we have the issue figured out. I hope we have the issue figured out. I need to I will be going through this winter at some point and shearing the girls' bums again. Just because they're fiber animals and it does get dirty back there. And so I go through and clip them every couple months or so. So I'm hoping we got the issue figured out, but I was not happy with how the shearing went this year. And I'm not sure I'm happy with the fleeces. So I need to sit down, go through those and see what I think, if I'm going to be selling those or not. So I have two goats that are this color, pretty much the same. They're a mother-daughter. And then I have my black ones, which I don't know. They're really dark. So I don't even think I would try to dye those. Nothing. I don't think anything would come through on those at all. Although I should try that just to see what happens when you do dye a darker fleece, because they're both I think they're both black, or charcoal is the name of their color. So, but that will be for a different day. So we're going to do not going to do all of this. We're going to do probably, I will go weigh this. Probably this much is what I'm going to do today. I do have plans for this mohair. I'm going to dye it, and I think I'm going to spin. I have alpaca, which was from our alpacas, and I need to check my stash and see how much is left of my alpacas. But I think what I'm going to do is I am going to dye this up, and then I am going to make enough yarn to knit a sweater, which is a big goal for me. That's, you know, when you figure sweater quantities, depending on what you're making, you're looking at least 500 yards, if not more. So I'm gonna try that. That's what this goal is for this yarn, or this fiber that I'm dyeing. So I just wanted to show you, when I talk about second cuts, these are second cuts. I think I've showed you before. This is when you pass over an area twice and you get second cuts. So you can just kind of, there are a few in here. I try really hard not to have that on my fibers, but they do. I'm not a professional. I don't do this for a living. And so they do get in there every now and then, and you can always spot them. Right there's one. They stick out pretty good, so you can usually, you know, see them fairly easily. So one thing, and I didn't even look this up yet. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to dye this in its raw state, and we'll see how it goes and then wash it afterwards. This is not, like I said, this isn't really overly dirty fiber. I'm going to take out that piece. It's got vegetable matter in it, which is VM. When you hear the words VM and you are listening to a fiber artist or a fiber farmer talk about VM, it's just the hay and straw that is in the fleece. So we're going to dye it just as it is and see what happens. And I'm going to take you along with me. So, oh, and I have picked out the one color. I have a jacquard. These are acid dyes. These are in my storefront. And this is color number 631, and it's a teal. I'm going to go light-handed on it and see what happens. You can always add in more, but you can't take away. So let me pause this, switch you around, and we'll set you up over here. Okay, we are over at the stove. I have my big bucket, or my big pot filled with water. I am going to add, I only have a half teaspoon down here for some reason. So I'm going to add just a teaspoon to get started. I am filling up another pot with my fleece in it just to get it wet. And saturate it early. I am actually not certain on, like I said, I've never dyed mohair. And so I am not certain on how that's going to come across or how it's going to, remember with Angora, it's pretty water repellent. And so you really have to soak it before you do any dyeing to get it fully saturated. So I'm just doing that with this. It won't hurt one way or the other. And I'm going to add my vinegar in. About 3 big gulps. I do have more here if I need it. And get it stirred, and we'll get it in there. Okay, so mohair saturates very quickly. There's no resistance to it like there is Angora, and so it is wet. I'm just pulling out a few of the vegetable matter that I can see here out of the top, and I'm going to pull it out of here and make a mess while I'm doing it. Shift it over into, the reason I'm kind of wringing this out is because the water is dirty. I did clean that while I was sitting here. Oh, that's beautiful. I will turn the camera here in just a second and show you guys once I get this done. This is gonna hopefully dye up. Like I said, I've never dyed mohair, so I'm not certain on how well, but that is what we're looking at. And we'll see how it picks it up and what we come up with. And I'm just gonna let this sit here for however long it takes for the dye to saturate into the fiber. So stay tuned. This is going to be one of those videos where I'm clicking on and off because I'm waiting for the process to happen, but I'll take you along. Okay guys, I'm back, and this is warm. I actually boiled it or had it on high heat, and then once it got to a spot where I knew it had absorbed most of the color, which looking at this, it looks like I put a tad too much in. So I did a teaspoon. The next time I do a batch like this, I'm going to do it a little bit less than a teaspoon, but it is fully saturated. The fiber is, and it's gorgeous. So I am going to take this out of here. Let's see if I can do this without making a huge mess. That's always the challenge in making these videos for you guys, is how to do some of this stuff on a good shot on the camera and not make a mess of my house. So, and I think you might not be able to see, the water draining off is pretty clear. So the fiber is saturated. And it is a gorgeous teal color. I can't wait till this dries. And I can use it. So what I'm probably going to end up doing with this, I'm going to wash this now with some fiber wash, just because the fiber was not clean when I did this. I had soaked it a little bit, but not a ton, so it still was a little bit dirty. And so I'm going to get some fiber wash. And I think I got most of it here out of this pot. Yeah. And I'm going to wash it. And I see another big piece there. And then I will lay it out on my drying mat, or my drying shelves. You guys have seen those. They're just the fold-out cloth shelves to dry clothes on. And we'll let it dry. And then I'm going to card it and excuse me, and spin it. I did find my Angora, and I think I have enough left to do what I want to do with it, which is a sweater quantity. So I'm going to I'm going to take, I think right now, this might change. I think I'm going to spin up bobbins of this color and bobbins of my white or cream colored alpaca. Did I say Angora a second ago? I meant alpaca if I said Angora. And I am going to take the 2-ply and spin them together. So it'll be a strand of mohair and a strand of alpaca to make my yarn. That will be in a later video, obviously, because this is going to actually take me a few days to get this, not wash it, but to wash it and then get it fully dried so I can work with it. So that will be a second video. Again, I'm going to wash this out, and actually, let me do that right now. I'm going to just turn off the camera, wash it, and then I'll show you the end color result. And then the next video, I will be carding it and spinning it up. Okay, guys, I have it all washed, and this is what I use to wash it, fiber wash. I use this, and I also sometimes use, and my mind has just lost the name, it's the other popular brand. I think you guys all know which one I'm talking about. I will put it down below. So I use those depending on what I have. So I use this today. I did want to show you the water. Maybe it does. Yeah. Well, let's try to be smart about this, Renee. How about that? There is a little bit of color left, but you can see it is, you can see through it. So there's just a touch left in there, and the fiber is fully saturated. I have rinsed it out, and I'm going to let it drip in here for just, it's in a strainer. I'm going to let it drip through for just a little while here before I lay it on the rack. Unfortunately, we are still in rain today, and it is not, it's damp and it's yucky out. So I won't be able to put this outside. I feel like tomorrow is supposed to be sunny, although like high of 50. So if that's the case, I will set this outside on the rack. But let me show you what I started with. Again, this was peppermint patty. And actually, this probably isn't a great representation because this is dirty. So it's a little bit lighter than this in real life without all the dirt in her. And this is the color I ended up with. and I am just so pleased with it. Of course, this is wet, and it's a gorgeous color though. So we will get this dried out, and part 2 will be coming soon. In part 2, I will card it. Probably drum carder is what I'm thinking. The mohair goes through the drum carder pretty good. So I'm going to drum card it and then spin it along with some alpaca, and we'll make some yarn, some beautiful handmade yarn with this. So stay tuned for that. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. I am always happy to help or answer questions for you. If you don't already, could you please subscribe to my channel? I would greatly appreciate that. I continue to do the 2 videos a week and trying to grow this channel so that others can find the joy in fiber arts and how to do it and raising rabbits and all of the things and the goats. I am here for all of it. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and